Okay, just a really quick video on how effective law enforcement was in the period 1500 to 1700. So we're going to look at change and continuity, i.e. things that don't change. One continuity is policing. People very much still police themselves. There's no police force, and there won't be until we see the emergence of Bow Street Runners in the late 1700s, and then the police in 1829 under the Metropolitan Police Act. So hue and cry is still being used as a main way of policing communities. You've still got parish constables to lead the hue and cry and inform sheriffs or coroners of any murders or serious crimes. You've got town watchmen, sometimes called sergeants, but these are really just mainly old men who are paid a very, very, very poor wage just to keep a lookout in the town, usually at night time, after hours, and they don't really do a great deal. And basically the emphasis is on people to self-police themselves, and citizens have got to get an arrest warrant from a magistrate if they would like someone to be arrested. Okay, so not a lot of change in policing. Trials. We have got some change here. We no longer have We no longer have trial by ordeal or trial by combat. Thanks to Henry II, courts are now the main way that people are tried, and courts that use juries or judges. So we have manor courts, which deal with local non-serious crimes like drunkenness and things like that. We have justices of the peace, JPs, who can deal with minor crimes on their own, so things like stealing. And then we have 4 times a year, all justices of the peace would meet together to form a quarter session, and they could deal with more serious cases. And then finally, for the really, really, really serious cases like murder and treason, we have royal judges, and these are the extension of the King's justice, and they will visit twice a year and deal with really serious crimes like murder, and they are known also as the county assizes. It's worth just mentioning we still have county assizes and we still have JPs or justices of the peace, so that is something that has lasted till today. Benefit of clergy still exists, although it is in a very, very limited form. There are still church courts to deal with people who don't go to church and other moral crimes like adultery or blasphemy. You can still claim benefit of clergy, but you can no longer claim it for serious crimes. So it's only to deal with low-level crimes. Sanctuary as well has been pretty much removed. Again, can only be used for less serious crimes. These changes really come from Henry VIII and his break with Rome, and his desire to limit the power of the church to interfere with the King's justice as it is. You only have trial by jury. It's the only way of trial. I've mentioned that already. And also, something that we've not talked about, but I would like you to know, from 1679, there is something called the Habeas Corpus Act. Habeas corpus is Latin for "you have the body." And essentially what this really complicated Latin words mean is that you cannot be locked up unless you have done a crime. So anyone who is arrested must be charged with a crime and then must have the right to appear in court. And this is a really, really big change in English law, and it's still a cornerstone of law today. And it protects you from being arrested and just thrown into a cell and left to rot. And that's a really, really nice thing to know as you go into the exam, because it's still a cornerstone of English law today. So, how effective was law enforcement? Well, about as effective as it was before. It is just worth making a note that actually you are starting to see, or you have got the emergence of a very, very rigorous court system. Okay, religion is in decline when it comes to dealing with crimes and justice, and it's now really much about the king and courts as a way to deal with criminals. Although you could argue that policing hasn't come on very far, you do see a decline in things like sanctuary and benefits of clergy and church courts not really being as important as they were before.